Mangalindan. All right, thank you. Recording in progress. She's a broadcast journalist and improv artist. Someone in this room is a fan of Pathways and Zoom, both of those. She completed 4 Pathways plus Pathways Mentor Program in 1 year. That's in 2021 to 2022, and she earned 5 Triple Crowns at 16 levels. Pretty amazing. Over a decade ago, Vivien Mangalindan was Advanced Communicator Gold and Advanced Leader Bronze. She was the past president of Mensa Toastmasters Club and is now District 33 Area B2 Director, VP of Membership of Point Mugu Toastmasters Club, member Level Up Toastmasters Club Advanced, member Edit Toastmaster Club Home Club. She's an international keynote speaker since 2001 and talk show host since 2009. Vivien uses conversational learning with wit and humor and as her personal style. So we're gonna have a lot of fun tonight. A social commentator, she delivers satire and performs improv when discussing heavy topics such as law, hospital management, and mental health. Her slogan in life is this: be entertained as you get informed. So let's laugh and learn as we share fun, funny, and fantastic moments. Life is not a prepared speech with our very own Miss V. Take it away, Miss V.
Yay! Love y'all. All righty. Life is not a prepared speech. Come on, really? 24 hours a day? If you sleep 8 hours, that's 16 hours awake. Show me anybody, Toastmaster or not, who has a prepared speech that's 16 hours long. Like, show me, show me. And even if you can produce one, the wonderful question is, what happens when people come along? What happens to your prepared speech? That makes sense. I would like to hear from you. Any comments on planning a day where you prepare everything you're going to say? Any comments from the people?
I don't think anyone would want to hear me for 16 hours straight.
That is right. And so I tell people, that is what happens when a person is programmed to do only, remember what I said, only written, edited, and memorized speeches. What I usually say is, I give talks and you're free to converse with me at any point in time. Just make sure that you don't eat up more airtime than me asking one question. Rolling of the eyes. I want to ask you, have you ever had people, if you give talks in the office or wherever, and you say, any questions? And they say, I have a question. And then they start like this. In 1988, and you're falling asleep and the question's not yet finished. Like I said, grammatically speaking, because I'm an editor, a question means a sentence with a question mark at the end, and it has a subject, a verb, and a predicate. I said, one subject, one verb, and one predicate. Margie is laughing. You know this happens, Margie, right? So let me ask all of you, can you give me briefly one scenario where you asked for questions and they ended up giving a lecture? Anyone want to share?
Yeah, Bob Costello does it all the time.
Lordy Lord.
All the time.
Bob,
You're
I'm
waiting for
gonna
him to get to the point.
All right. So I'm going to give you a neat little trick. I hope you have ball pen paper. If you have, because I'm still in the ball pen era, thank you. What you can do is can you put one long rectangle like this? and then put 2 lines so that you end up with 3 squares inside the rectangle. Can you see that?
Mhm.
Right. So you number it 1, 2, and 3. Can you do that? 1, 2, and 3. Okay?
Yes.
1 means what are you going to ask about? Just what? What? Is it apples? Is it what? Shoelaces? But just put what. The second is the verb. What about the what do you want to ask about? And then the predicate is like apples are red. Why are you doing that? And then after you hit the third box, you get duct tape and slap it on your mouth. There you go. And then to make it look like a question, you use body language. That's it. So that's not solve your problem, Bob. That's gonna solve Denise's problem because it becomes her problem. Does it work, Denise? Or if Bob does, yeah, I love you, Bob. And if Bob doesn't bring his duct tape, Denise, you can go to the hardware tomorrow or have it delivered by the duct tape. And then here goes. I have masking tape here. If Bob doesn't want to zip it, you go. He's gonna get it. Did I quickly solve one problem within the first 5 minutes? Yes?
Yes.
All right. So today I'm going to talk about bloopers in life that we can avoid or prevent or kind of go around in a happy way. Would you want to do that with me? If you can tell me, you
Yes.
say stuff. Okay.
Go.
Then, okay, let me tell you, by the way, I'm not going to do, because I don't like this, I'm not going to do the complete with serious face. Let me tell you 3 things. Shoot me, I'm not going to do that. I'm just going to share stories. All right. There's a saying, and the guys and gals in this room might remember there was a time that dates me. Back in the 60s, there was a commercial that said, say it with flowers. Remember? Yes. Nice. The boys used to send me flowers. I don't like flowers because I'm in the Philippines. It's warm. By the second day, somewhere in the afternoon, yes, the house smells like a funeral parlor. Kid you not, because it's so humid. It's so humid. You can see the beautiful flowers like this start to go like this, right in front of your face. Like, ah! They're beautiful. Yes, I like them. I like the flowers when they arrive. But I don't like them when they start to smell funny. You know, you're not as warm as here. They smell funny when they're kind of beginning to wilt. What am I trying to tell you? If you're going to say something, you want to say it in a language that the other person prefers. We know that in terms of words, but there's many ways to say something. One is visually, like, hey, Kathy, remember? Kathy says, yes. I said, you gave me this shawl last year. That's visual, which says, I treasure everything you do for me. That's visual. Auditory is make sure that you don't sound a little bit strange, even if you really mean what you're saying. Like, Kathy, I really like the shawl that you gave me last year. Like, two things. What I said and how I said it. Then there are people who don't know exactly which words to use. They will just say, Kathy, nice. Okay. Yeah. Remember when you deliver a message, okay? 55% comes from body language, facial expression, facial expression, facial expression, voice tone, vocal variety, tonality, 38%. So do the math. If we have any math wizards here, I'm not bright. I memorized the numbers. The remaining numbers is 7. So you will see why I am so allergic that I break out in rashes. When people train the people in the room to use allegedly long, impressive, hard to spell words like supercalifragilisticexpialidocious, which by the way has 34 letters. Impressive. I memorized that too. Okay. You want to use words, we want to use words that the other person or the other people can understand. Any reactions or violent reactions so far? Make sense?
Makes sense.
Yes. Therefore, thank you, Bob. I have raised a challenge and inspired people. I told them, it's nice to teach people words that they've never heard of before. But I tell them, if they can't memorize it by the middle of the meeting or by the end of the meeting, what was the point? What was the point? What was the point, right? The point in giving word of the day is to give them something that they can use. So, what am I trying to tell you? You want to go to Google and look for words that are often misused or misspelled, like the hanger and the hanger. The hanger is where I hang my clothes, but the hanger is where you put the plane. So you better spell it right. It's very strange if you try to put an airplane in a hangar. So things like that. So your first, notice all my lessons are first. Very hard to remember second, third, and fourth. Now you know, just claim everything's first. 55, 38, and 7. So body language is first. Do you remember when Dad would come home and everyone goes, looks like he's had a bad day? Do you recall? Do you recall that when you were young? Like, yeah, looks like he had a bad day. And then, if he slams the door, bang. Auditory, you really had a bad day. So you better make sure you use the correct 7%. Visual, auditory, kinesthetic, okay? Kinesthetic is, by the way, touch. Some people have to learn by show and tell. If you notice, my show is called Show and Tell. How many people in this room cook? Can you raise your hand, please? Who cooks in this room? All right. Of the people who claim they cook, who should not cook, but they think they cook. Sorry. Yeah, Marjane. All right. What you have to remember is, let me ask all of you quickly, would you say you're a visual, auditory, or kinesthetic person? Kinesthetic means you learn by cooking demo. There are people who can't learn it through a cookbook. They can't learn it through a telephone. They have to learn it through demo. And I figured that out. That's why I created it. Yes, Kathy, what is it?
I was going to say I learn better by doing, rather than reading it. If I have to do it, and then I learn more that way.
All right.
Aesthetic.
Would you be happy doing it on your own? Or would you be happy if someone was with you giving a demo and then you also do it?
I'd rather have someone with me doing the demo.
Yay, twins separated at birth. Show and tell. That's what it is. And that is why I have questioned people. We hear the words learning by doing, which is fine. And yet, what I encourage them to do is to make sure that the Toastmaster or whoever does some quirky, funny things in the beginning somehow is able to show and tell in a very subtle, non-prepared speech method. Life is not a prepared speech. Like, notice, I've been doing show and tell so far. Remember? Talking about this and this and this. I know that it becomes easier, especially for newbies, because there are shy ones. And Bob, you've talked to some people on my side of the world. Oh, they're very reserved. They're shy, and English is not the first language. It's not the primary language of many people. When they have to do and not ever have seen anything before, they just, you know, this the body language. They get so shy. I personally endorse cooking demo style. Give them a demo. What's the point? When giving a demo, particularly because I've been doing talks around the world, 12 countries, 4 languages since 2001, is instead of telling people what to do, I tell people what not to do. Don't send me flowers, okay? We learn, let me ask you, do we learn better by theories and principles in books and on YouTube, or YouTube with the bloopers? Then we're gonna say, oh, that's what burnt toast looks like. It's smoking, right?
Yeah.
Right.
So I would like to encourage you, especially Marjane, and Find Your Funny. have an entire episode just on bloopers. It's gonna be hilarious. Because you want to try that. And let me ask you quickly. I'm gonna give you 60 seconds each. What is one blooper that you can share? Denise, I learned by books and personal instruction. There you go. Personal instruction is show and tell. There you go. Each of you, maximum. So it's 30 to 60 seconds. One blooper you want to share that we can all learn from. Go. Who's gonna go first?
I'll go first.
Thank you, Kathy.
Be careful what shoes you're wearing when you start to go down a small hill to pick up your small dog after it has rained. It was like stepping on ice, and I had ice skates on. I went straight down. And my dog just looked at me like, what are you doing down here on the ground?
There you go. And that's Kathy's show and tell. See? What? Show and tell. Who has another story? Bob. Yes.
When you volunteer your services as a good Samaritan and you want to change a tire on a car for that person, make sure that you're on a hill like I did. Yeah, the car was found later.
Oh, my lordy lord. Okay, who's got another one? Yes.
What's
Marjane.
interesting is
Denise.
what Bob just mentioned. There's actually a world champion speaker that uses that
Yeah.
illustration in his speech.
Excellent.
But
Yes.
I actually watched the video of him giving the speech. It was very interesting. And he did a bang up job and he was funny.
Changed by a
There you go.
tire.
Who? James who?
Breslov.
Yeah.
Changed by a tire is the name of the speech.
There you go. All right. Marjane, you have a story?
Oh, well, it's not much of a story, but I will say, going back to cooking, if you're going to go by a recipe, make sure to go by the recipe as it's written and not double something or triple or quadruple the. Yes, I made something once that called for a very small amount of cinnamon. And I don't know what I did, but it was inedible. It's the only time I have ever cooked something where I just, oh my gosh. It was moussaka with, I think it was supposed to have 1/4 teaspoon of cinnamon. I don't know what I put in there, but I'm guessing it was like 4 tablespoons. I don't know. It was awful.
Oh, boy.
So my recommendation there is whenever you have a cookbook, you print in bold italics, underline, font 72, and you paste that on the cover and it says, do the math, Marjane.
Of course, I could have done like my ex-father-in-law, who apparently was making something and caught two pages together when he was doing the recipe. And so he ended up with what they called later peas with Ritz crackers. I don't know. It's another one of those throw it away because it's not edible.
There you go. And we have Gwendolyn Rao. Gwendolyn, do you want to participate? A yes or no will do? Not getting yes or no. Yes, Gwendolyn, yes or no? You want to participate?
No, thanks.
Okay, there you go. So moving forward, yeah, okay, Bert, thank you.
Yeah, I would say a blooper is when you're cooking something and it asks for milk. Make sure you check the expiration date before you pour the milk in. If it says 20 or 21 or anything like that, it's probably not great. So that's important. Expiration dates are really important.
Bert, I suddenly remember something that's equal or worse or less than my infamous eyebrow story. I love cooking. I cook for friends. So my friend said, oh, you want to cook for us? I said, sure. So I did pasta. And she said, oh, my husband's in a good mood. Let's put some wine. Okay, listen up. It's her house. I'm not in control. That's the first lesson when you're cooking. You should be in control of your ingredients. What happened? It's her wine, and I should have listened to the meaning when she said, it's been around for a while, so we might as well use it. Because I heard bells like ding dong, woo, woo, woo. You know where this is going.
Vinegar tasty?
Yeah, the wine's been there for a while. Remember, wine gets better if it's been there for quite a while, if it was not opened, because once it's opened, it's not a bright idea after the third day. So I didn't want to be rude. I decided to be stupid. I said, sure, there, don't do that. Just be rude instead of stupid and say, let me smell it. So I poured it, and as soon as I poured it, I knew it smelled like vinegar. You can imagine when the husband could smell it and then he tasted like, yeah, there you go. I was never invited to their house ever. Consistently, life is not a prepared speech. You see, all these things happen. Now, let me ask you, what is your love language? How do you express your love for people? Me, my love language is the gift of time. I like to give them my time, my quality time. Like here, share stories and hear what you have to say. So I thought that I was being very loving, very connective, building relationships, until I heard the booming voice of the husband of my friend. When's that woman gonna get off the phone? So I found out that people in their home talk maximum 3 sentences, like, did you buy toothpaste? Do we have enough bread? Their house was like that. Simple, like class exam questions. They were not into conversations. And yeah, I can see Marjorie's face. There are people like us who like conversing. How do you show your love? What do you do for and with people? Since Bert was last a while ago, Bert, how do you show your love or that you care for a person?
For me, it's probably similar to what you did, which is quality time conversations. But the main thing is finding out what the other person's love language is and communicate to them in their love language, whatever that may be.
Thank you. Yes. I'm beginning to love you more and more. I was giving my quality time and they didn't want it.
Yeah.
Tell me already, right? So 3 things to find out. First is ask. Second is ask. The third is, I think you know it, Yeah, ask.
Yes.
But you have to find out how to ask them. You don't, this is gonna sound weird, right? Like if you meet people for the first time, excuse me, what's your love language? Excuse me? What? Are you trying to make it pass? Excuse me, right? So you have to find out how to find out what their love language is. Bob, what would it be? How do you show your buddy that they, hey, you're my best friend?
Well, how do I tell my best friend what he is? Number one, straight up, honest, open communications. Allow your feelings to be true, dedicated. Allow your feelings to be vulnerable, because each of you rely on each other. Each of you depend on each other. And it's amazing how much support you can get from another person. And smiling, which is hidden behind this thing over here, generally says it all. And unconditional love is really something we need to shoot for. Why? Because it's unconditional. There should not be a reason. There should not be a payoff. There is no comeback, so to speak. Just
Hey.
give of your.
Thank you. Now, I'm going to add something interesting to that. Cultural. It's easy for me to do Zoom around the world because I'm Filipino, but I didn't study in a Philippine school. I studied in a school for expats. So all my classmates were kids of ambassadors, consuls, country managers. So in a classroom of like 9 kids, we'd probably have kids from 7 countries. So I'm very comfortable. And my awareness and my antenna is high. Why, Bob? Here, when we do something wrong, we smile. I kid you not, it irritates me, right? Like, oh, Sir Bob, don't get angry, huh? Watch out for the ha. Don't get angry, huh? Uh-huh. The moment someone says don't get angry, you know you're gonna get angry. That's the first ding dong, ding dong. Then you say, what is it? Promise. Then you know you're gonna get really angry, right? And then you say, what is it? I didn't finish the report I'm supposed to submit to you today. Don't get angry, huh? That's very confusing, especially to people who come here the first time. Like, my staff was apologizing, but happy. So here you want to listen to the words. Watch out, the smiles, maybe close your eyes and try to figure out what they're saying. So I just thought I'd let you know that. And who wants to share a story here? How do you show your caring and your love? The third one. Let's give someone, wait, who wants to share? Kathy? Denise? Marjane? Yes, Denise.
Him.
I had some friends locally go away, and her brothers came to take care of Mom, who has Parkinson's and had a stroke. So she's wheelchair bound. When I found out that they were visiting, because I didn't know prior to that, I planned to go visit and say hello. But they went fishing. So Mom's aide was there taking care of her, and the boys went fishing, or the men went fishing. So Sunday I cooked. I like to cook. I made chili and rice, brown rice. And I dropped the chili and brown rice off on the way to my congregation meeting.
Oh,
And
your
they told me
style.
later that it was very good.
Oh, wow. Oh, my goodness. I am speechless. All right, one last one. Who wants to share one? Marjane, Kathy? Not
Kathy
ready?
has-
Okay, go. Marjane,
Oh,
were you gonna share something?
no, I said Kathy had her hand up.
Oh, Kathy,
Oh, my hand's
your
permanently.
hands up forever. All
I
right,
can go ahead and share though, if you'd like.
okay, yes, please.
I had a friend whose wife was ill, and several of us in our church were taking over supper. And I was kind of famous for my chicken enchiladas. I went to the store to buy the ingredients, and they were out of the little spice package. So I went to the Mexican section I thought, I'll get the spice section, the spices there. And I used it, made it, took it to them. Well, the next day, the husband said, they were delicious, but I was on fire. I did not realize how much hotter the Mexican spices were than the Tex-Mex were. I'm sorry, I get tickled every time I think about it. He has freckles, and he said they were just, his face was so red.
Yeah.
So be
That's-
careful where you buy your spices.
Interesting. So maybe if I have wacky advice, I'll say, you'll find out if it's too spicy if you see smoke coming out of their ears.
Yes.
A little bit
Or
spicy.
his freckles are popping.
Oh, wow, that's really funny, right? Freckles popping. That's a good one. If you're the grammarian, that one would win. Now I'm gonna tell you a deep, dark secret. You know that I'm segueing over, right? Transitioning, if you may. People think like a talk show host is brilliant and knows it all. I'm like, no. By the time the pandemic hit, I had 398 episodes of my show. There is no way that I know 398 businesses. It's a show for entrepreneurs. So, the famous show, the trick is you don't have to know anything about anything. You just have to be an excellent and insightful, not just active for the us and ums, an insightful listener, conversationalist. Because many people listen with the intent to ask a prepared question, which I don't like doing. They research and prepare questions and they don't care what the other person's saying. Have you had that happen during a meeting? And talk shows do that. The guest gives an answer to the previous question. Bob, yes, you agree? The guest gives an answer. And of course, you're expecting a conversation. And then the host says, oh yeah, and my next question is, and I tell people, excuse me, we are not in 5th grade in the classroom of Mrs. Smith. It is not 10 questions, and we're not gonna get graded. Therefore, I would like to encourage to have people do more conversational style during their meetings. We are so set on Q&A, and they find, I don't know why, table topics terrifying or absolutely yuck, or they don't want to do it. But look, conversations are just endless table topics. And table topics are just endless conversations. Mindset matters. That's one of the talks I've given. It's all mindset. Just listen to those words, table topics. It's what you talk about on a date. Remember when you first fell in love? Oh my, you could talk forever and ever and ever. Amen. Right? Like the guys in the restaurant, they bring out the floor mop. They start to put the chairs, upside down on the tables. And notice the eye contact, right? When people are in love, they're like, ugu eye. That's how you know people are in love. Remember that song? 'Cause I only have eyes for you, dear. Yes. And then they get married, and over time, like, what? Yeah. Okay, I'm listening. What? The person is on the other side. Why? You have eyes behind your head, right? So I'm sharing all of these daily bloopers and scenarios with you to show that life is not a prepared speech. My only recommendation and recipe for happiness is just stay on topic. Do not ever change the topic, especially when your intent is deflection. Deflection is changing the topic because you really want to avoid it. Like when you're late for work and the boss says, why are you late? He asks you. And he's going to say, well, Marjane was late yesterday. You didn't ask her. Notice it's the heat's on Marjane now, right? That's deflection. Don't do that. What was the question? And you answer. So a tip for you, if someone deflects, you will just say, we'll tackle that in a while. As I was saying, why are you late? It pays to add a little bit of humor no matter how angry you are. Because the moment you look angry and you sound angry and the words could make it mean you're angry, like, why are you late? That's it. The person will lie. People get very creative when they have to come up with an alibi. Creativity really goes up. Have you seen that happen? Self included, like, then we have all sorts of ideas to get away with it. Question so far on life is not a prepared speech. Does anyone have any violent reactions to that life is not a prepared speech? Anyone?
If
Bert?
yes,
Bob, quickly, we're gonna wrap up. I'm on yellow, yes.
okay. I find people who try to listen don't. I use the word noise. They start to figure out where the person's going. They want to try to end the sentence or the paragraph or thought by themselves. And by formulating that, they don't really hear what's being said at the moment.
Thank you.
We need to sit back and listen.
Yes, there you go. Lots of unconditional love here. I saw this quote, it's not mine. People listen with the intent to answer. It would be better if they listen with the intent to understand. Doesn't that make sense? I have a recipe for that. I like to think of everything as cooking, right? My recipe is whenever you're dealing with other people, just think, you want to do, and I'll do my cute version of 3 things. You want to, 1, challenge the mind, 2, touch the heart, and 3, tickle the funny bone. Challenge the mind, touch the heart, and tickle the funny bone. That is my recipe for a day in the life. Because after all, life is not a prepared speech. It works for me. I hope it works for you too. So sending you love from Manila. Mwah, mwah, mwah. All righty. Bert,
Yes, I have a question.
Yes.
Many times when it comes to public speaking, with Toastmasters, it's a great organization because it gives us an opportunity to speak in a formal way. But sometimes I find that when we are speaking or people are learning how to speak, it's hard to do the conversation part of it, simply because when you're in front of someone, that's a different persona that we feel like we have to project. And we can be having a conversation like, yeah, I did this last night, did this, I went here, I did that, I listened to this movie. And then when it's time for a speech, it's like something shifts and we go into a speech mode of it. And I know some of that is just nerves in that sense, but what are your thoughts about being able to transition from just a conversational part to the speech and trying to get that conversation into their speaking?
I love your question. Simply put, I tell people, I also teach kids. I teach from kindergarten to CEOs, to doctors and lawyers and psychiatrists. Speak to express, never to impress. And that's why I ruffle a lot of feathers when people say, remember, speak to impress. And I'm like, well, that's what you want to do, but how much can we love a person who's always trying to impress you? Like, really now? People say they want authentic. Authentic? Really now? I just want them to be real. That's what my answer is to you, Bert. The moment we think that life is a big playground where we learn to get along, you know that. In kindergarten, there's a playground, there's only so many swings and slides, but we get along. We take turns. We find a way to engage each other. Generally, it's called anxiety, being in the field of mental health, where we have this voice. It's called mom or dad. Remember, you should sound like you're the brightest in class. So my answer is why? What if you have 15 kids who are all the brightest? Come on, even the Olympics, you can only have one first place. Second, only my opinion. Do I want to be the brightest and the best? Or do I want to be the one that leaves a part of my heart, a part of my mind with every person that I have met around the world in all the Zoom rooms? Because especially now in the time of pandemic, life is fleeting, tomorrow is not promised. Bert, to answer you, if people can think of that, if this were to be your last day on earth, would it be for you to impress that you have the right answer? Or would it be for you to give some statements that are useful to the other person? What's
Yeah,
your
I think that was really good, because I think part of being in Toastmasters and also mentoring and helping people is to help them to find their authentic voice. And that really does take some time for us to get into that space of helping them to get over that fear and to be okay with stumbling. But I like the part about express and impress, because I think that if I'm trying to impress someone, I'm probably trying too hard. I'm being inauthentic. But if I'm expressing myself, I think that opens up for more of a connection. And that's what they want to do is connect.
I'll put that in a nutshell, and Marjane knows this. This is the wacky me, and Kathy, please forgive me. Imagine someone proposing to the ladies in this room. Let me tell you 3 things why you want to marry me. 1, I'm going to buy you a car of your choice. 2, I'm gonna build you a house or a building anywhere in the world. And 3, because I'm the best public speaker in the world. Those are 3 things why you want to marry me. Really? Really? So Bert, he was trying to impress, but he's just obnoxious. Make sense?
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, there you
Any
go.
any other questions or comments? We've got a few minutes left.
If I could take a picture, I'd appreciate it. So we
Right, okay,
get
there.
to the end.
So
Yes,
so
if you-
Vivien, was that the world's most interesting man?
There you go.
He
So-
had me at Blue Car building. I was I didn't even need the speaker. He didn't have to talk.
Nice one. All right. So
Like it better if he didn't.
If you do not want your picture taken, please turn your video around or off, please.
should I turn Kathy, hold on. Should I turn the recording off?
Uh,
Are we done with the questions and conversations? Yes?
We're just going to wrap up, and then you can leave it on, then we're going to wrap
Yeah,
up. It's
you
up
can
to you.
leave it
It's
on.
your call.
it's over.
Well,
Yeah.
there
It's
you
your
go.
call.
Now that we're gonna do the picture taking, I'm gonna give you a tip. Okay. When you want a picture taken, make sure to remember, true love doesn't last forever, but YouTube does. So make it a picture worthwhile. Right?
That's true.
So
All
tip
right.
for you.
Well, I'm going to take like 3 to, I'm sorry.
Here you go.
I'm going to take
You,
3.
you can say this. Okay, wait a minute. Square your shoulders. Most of us go like this. Notice, I become smaller when I do this. Notice the stage presence when I do this. I can give you another talk on that. See, the moment you square your shoulders, it looks like you're nearer. No, you just squared your shoulders. There you go. And because
in the picture there.
okay, there you go. And because I'm overweight, how to not occupy that much space is we just move a little bit. Notice I lost 15 pounds. And then, no, it's called projection.
Thank you.
And Downwards, Catherine. 3, 2, 1 instead of 1, 2, 3. Okay, so you go 3, 2, 1.
Okay,
Go.
3, 2, 1. Oops, 1 second. Well, if for some reason it decided, okay, I'm gonna have to do another one.
Ah, my cheeks are frozen. Okay.
Get
Three,
get
two,
them
one.
frozen. 1, 2, 3. Perfect. Now let's try a couple more just to be sure when I'm hitting the 3 instead of the 4. 3, 2, 1. Okay, one more. 3, 2, 1. Okay, we should have a good one out of all of those. Thank
Okay,
you
All
very
right.
Mark,
And I'll
okay,
send it to you. I'll message it to you.
thank you. To wrap this up, because to give a gift, Margine, I'm always in your club. Do this. Tell them you'll take a picture. You're not gonna do the 3, 2, 1. Even if they tell you to, then you're gonna say 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and you just go on and on, right? And their faces become funnier and funnier. Then you take the picture.
Yeah, for her club, that'd be good.
All right.
hope-
Well, listen,
I hope you
Vivien,
enjoyed
thank
all
you.
of this. Yes, more.
Yes, thank you so much for the presentation and taking the time. I know there's a big time difference over there too, so thank you for being available and making this time for us. We greatly appreciate it. Some really good stuff I think we got in this, simply because being able to relax, to be yourself, different ways that people learn, but also your just ability to get us involved and ask questions. So it does feel like we're all just having a conversation. And I love your quote about the entertainment. Let me find that real quickly. Is your be entertained as you get informed. And I think tonight, some really good lessons came in to us as we were laughing, as we were getting to know each other and all of this. And everything, it doesn't have to be formal all the time, but it's the formal part of it that we really remember. And that's what our club is about, Toastmasters is about, is being able to have these moments and learn and laugh, not learn and cry, which is okay to cry, but we want to laugh tonight.
Not from a
So
Toastmaster.
thank you so much. Yeah, that's another type of deal.
That's another comment.
But you can move to tears. That can happen too. We want to take a few moments and just give our guests an opportunity to share a few words, anything they want to. Gwendolyn, would you like to share a couple of words about the meeting tonight?
Oh, thanks for the invitation. I loved it. She was so funny. And I thought she was right on with the ideas that she had. So it's something that everybody can appreciate. And I just love the idea of not just talking to people, talking at people and trying to impress people, because that just tends to turn people off. And like if we're talking with each other, then she's just right on. I loved it. Thanks for having me.
Thank you for coming. We appreciate that. I know you guys are officially quote guests. However, you are members, but always be members in our hearts. So Marjane, Denise, would you like to share any comments before we close up?
Well, I'm glad I was able.
Go on, Denise.
I was glad I was able to meet Vivien at another club workshop, another district. It was out in Portland, Washington, and that area, and convince her to come. Eventually, convince her to come do a workshop with highway safety. So that was a nice pleasure to see how well you all enjoyed her. And she wasn't presenting at the other workshop. She was just there quizzing the two men that were presenting.
Thank you, Denise.
Trying to get them to come up on her talk show.
And
Go ahead,
thank
Marjane.
Thank you very much, Denise, by setting that up. Really appreciate that. Marjane?
Well, Vivien is just a joy. She is so much fun. She's come to a lot of the Find Your Funny meetings, and she's just always just adds a little ray of sunshine. So I had to come and see her.
Fantastic. Any other comments?
Well,
I
told
do.
Bert, when Miss Vivien and I were speaking for the first time, We talked for, I think, about an hour and a half, and I didn't even realize it had been that long. We were just communicating so well and having such a good time laughing, but it didn't even seem like it'd been that long. So that's a
So
good
it
conversation.
wasn't your husband in the background.
Oh, no, he had gone to bed. He didn't even know I was on the phone. It was late.
Bob?
Yes, sir. Very quickly, this was a fantastic event. She was wonderful. I have a new love in my life. I can see it now. What I liked is the fact she is down to earth. We talked about conversation, not speech presentations, not speaking abilities. We're not talking down to people. We're just having a good old fashioned conversation. And she imbued in that the fun, the joie de vivre, the joy, the happiness. There was laughter in her conversation. There was a lilt in her voice. And yes, I have to say, she was the recipe for
Thank you.
communicating. And in that insightful point of view, I turn it back to you.
Thank you so much, Bob. Once again, thank you so much for that. I want to leave with a little story. This is a story by Harrison Ford, the actor. And he was being interviewed on the Actors Studio one time. And the host asked, and this relates to what Vivien talked about. The host asked him, how important is listening as an actor? And Harrison Ford looked at him and said, it's everything.
Yes.
And I think what you talked about, the listening part, it's everything. That's it. It's all about the listening. I did want to invite, if you are a guest, please feel free to join us. We have our regular meetings from noon to 1, and we'll have a meeting next Tuesday at 12 o'clock. And I need to put something in chat if you want to. I think I put that in chat. If you want to get in contact with Miss Vivien, some of you might have come in before I actually put that up. So you have all of our contact information right there for you if you want to take a few moments and copy that down or link or whatever. Any other additional questions you may have for her, that's fine.
Print the chat.
What's that?
Said, or you can click on those 3 little dots down at the bottom and print the chat.
Ooh, let's see.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay, that works too. Something new every night.
A tip for
Thanks a
you,
lot.
Marjane, a tip for everybody. My YouTube channel has many speeches and talks and conversations like this with the clubs around the world where I have given talks. And Candid Conversations is my weekly column in a newspaper. I do not research. All of those stories are real bloopers. Of course, I don't put the real names. So you want to watch and you want to read, and feel free to use it when you give your talks. Just say you heard it from this wacky wild woman. You notice www. It's not work like this.
That's what it's for. Gosh.
That's what that stands for. Yeah, that's logical.
So now you know, Bob, we can still learn,
All right.
right? Wacky wild woman. So there you go.
There you go.
Well, thank you, everybody. It's about a little bit after 8. Apologize for going a few minutes over, but I think it was worth it. Thank you all for coming, and I will officially close the meeting. Is that good with you, Bob?
Sure. One second,
good.
I just wanted to let you know, I've got a member from my leadership club who can't come to our meetings the next 3 weeks. So I'm checking to see if she is available to come, visit your club maybe.
Yeah.
So I'll let you know if I don't know what her schedule is. So, but I'll let you know if she's going to come and visit.
That sounds great. Thanks a lot, Marjane.
Point of order.
Remember,
I may believe.
we don't have one tomorrow because we had the meeting tonight.
Yeah, right. Yeah, I
Yeah,
did tell her that.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Okay. That's my point of order. I wanted to clarify
I
that.
did let
Next
her know
week
that, and I
is
gave her a couple
Tuesday.
other options too. So I don't know her schedule, but
All right.
hey, Vivien.
Thanks, Vivien.
All right, I'm going to go.
Bert, may I say and express my gratitude? I would like to say thank you to the person who first got me here. I'd say thank you to Denise for getting me on board here. Thank you. And thank you to all of you. One more. I enjoyed your company.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
You're welcome.
extraordinarily wonderful. Thank you so much.
Good
It's been a
night,
pleasure.
Good night,
everyone.
everybody.
Hi.
Bye.